In a world that never stops buzzing, where every ping, post, and pressure pulls at your mind, it's easy to feel emotionally exhausted. This video dives into how ancient Stoic philosophy can help you regain control, master your emotions, and move through modern life with calm, clarity, and quiet strength. We don't live in an age of famine or war. We live in an age of overstimulation. Every morning, even before your feet hit the floor, the world barges in. Your phone lights up like a slot machine. Messages, headlines, tragedies, opinions, some from people you love, most from people you'll never meet, all demanding your attention. Before you've had a single thought of your own, you're drowning in everyone else's. And the tragic part? The mind was never built for this. It was built for stillness, for focus, not for absorbing 1,000 headlines before breakfast, not for the whiplash of scrolling from a war zone to a cat meme to a fitness influencer's morning smoothie. We scroll to escape discomfort, but what we're actually running from is ourselves. Each swipe is a tiny exit door from the present moment, and over time, presence itself begins to feel foreign. We forget how to be bored, how to sit in silence, how to hear the sound of our own thinking without the fear that we're missing something important. But here's the hard truth. The modern world didn't steal your clarity, you surrendered it. One notification, one scroll, one late-night doom scroll session at a time. But Stoicism reminds us, you are not your distractions. You are what you choose to attend to. Epictetus said, if someone handed over your body to random strangers, you'd be outraged. Yet every day you hand over your mind to algorithms, to gossip, to the endless churn of noise. We are not being held hostage by technology. We're volunteering for it, mentally kidnapped, not by enemies, but by convenience. You refresh, you react, you repost. But when was the last time you reflected? And no, the answer isn't to throw your phone into a lake. The solution isn't rage, it's clarity. You don't have to silence the world, you just have to reclaim your attention. Because mastery, emotional, spiritual, even philosophical, begins when you decide what you will no longer give away. And that decision starts now. In a world engineered for instant reactions, every ping, every headline, every tweet, there's a philosophy that doesn't shout. It listens. Thousands of years ago, long before the algorithm, amidst collapsing empires and political unrest, four men, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and Zeno, posed a question so radical it still echoes today. What do I actually control? Not the weather, not the economy, not what others say about you, not even whether your message gets left on seen. What you control is your mind, your intentions, your response. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, horns blaring. You're already late. You can scream, punch the steering wheel, curse at the red lights, but does any of that move the line forward? That's the modern metaphor for life. So much noise, so little control. The Stoics weren't anti-emotion. They didn't preach numbness. They understood sorrow, anger, and joy. They simply refused to be possessed by them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in the solitude of his war tent, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In a culture that rewards outrage and urgency, Stoicism offers a radical alternative, stillness. While modern voices chant, be more, do more, react faster, Stoicism whispers, do less, react slower, feel deeper, but choose wisely. It teaches you to pause between stimulus and response, to listen before speaking, to let go of what you can't influence. Because peace isn't something you chase, it's what rises when you stop resisting. Think of your mind like a garden. You can't stop the wind from blowing, but you can choose what grows. And if you don't, someone else will. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the pace of the world, remember this. Control is not in grabbing the reins of the universe. It's in mastering the reins of your own mind. That's where your power lives. And it's been there all along. Emotional mastery isn't about pretending not to feel. It's not about suppression or smiling through the storm. It's about awareness, intention, response. The Stoics never taught us to kill our emotions. They taught us to understand them, to let them rise, speak, and pass without letting them take the wheel. But in this hyper-connected world, emotions don't get heard. They get buried or broadcasted. We don't process, we scroll. We don't reflect, we react. And every day, we hemorrhage clarity in the name of speed. So how do we take it back? First, practice presence. Not the kind reserved for monks on mountaintops. The kind that happens when you just pause, feel your breath, watch your thoughts, not to control them, but to see them clearly. No judgment, just awareness. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom begins where observation replaces reaction. So next time a comment stings, a post irritates, or a message pulls you into drama, stop, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this mine to control or just mine to observe? One question, one breath. That's how you reclaim your inner life. Second, reframe your thoughts. The Stoics were mental alchemists. To them, every difficulty was an invitation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That breakup, that delay, that rejection, it's not the end of your peace, it's the beginning of your practice. Ask yourself, what is life asking me to practice right now? Patience? Resilience? Forgiveness? This isn't toxic positivity. This is trained perception, seeing things as they are, and responding as who you truly want to become. Third, set boundaries with technology. This is the spiritual battlefield of our generation. Notifications are not neutral. Feeds are not passive. You're not browsing. You're being shaped. Seneca warned, "You must linger among a limited number of master thinkers, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind." Today, that means curation. Unfollow what agitates your soul. Mute what mocks your values. Consume like your inner peace depends on it, because it does. Fourth, build a reset ritual. Your mind needs maintenance. Silence is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Take a walk without your phone. Write a line in a journal. Before your day begins, ask, what do I truly control today? What kind of person do I want to be, no matter what the world throws at me? Make this a ritual, and something shifts. You don't just become calmer, you become anchored. Yes, you'll still feel things, frustration, fear, even heartbreak, but they won't own you. They won't decide for you, because now you're the one at the wheel. That's emotional mastery, not detachment, but disciplined presence. The quiet power of a person who feels deeply, but isn't ruled by the noise. There's a strange kind of emptiness that comes from always being connected. You know the feeling, scrolling endlessly, jumping from app to app, and still feeling hollow. We wake up to pings and vibrations. Before we even breathe, we've checked who liked us, who texted us, who might have noticed we exist. We measure our worth in views and compare our joy to filtered snapshots. And in doing so, we drift from our peace, from our purpose, from ourselves. But life, real life, was never meant to be pixel-sized. It lives in moments that don't demand to be shared, in the golden quiet of early mornings, in the smell of earth after rain, in the soft sting of tears when you finally forgive yourself, in someone's unfiltered laughter when you're both too tired to care how you look. The Stoics, even without our screens, felt the same drift in their world, but instead of chasing more, they chased meaning. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." That craving, it never ends. The next like, the next scroll, the next distraction dressed as dopamine. But what if we flip the script? Disconnect to reconnect. Not to escape life, but to return to it. Put the phone down, not out of guilt, but out of love. For yourself, for the people sitting across the table, for the moment that's disappearing while your attention is elsewhere. Try this. Go for a walk. No music, no podcast, no agenda. Let the world speak to you again. Watch how the light moves through the trees. Watch a dog wag its tail like it's the happiest creature on earth. Let your mind wander, not into worry, but into wonder. There's a quiet rebellion in doing less, in saying no to the infinite scroll, in choosing depth over noise, in whispering to yourself, "This is enough. I am enough." Real joy isn't found in notifications. It's found in what you say to yourself when no one's looking. It's in the moments where nothing happens, yet everything feels whole. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." And that's the truth most of us avoid. You won't find peace by running faster or by consuming more. You'll find it by returning to your breath, to simplicity, to stillness. It won't be easy. Stillness will feel awkward at first. You'll reach for your phone out of habit, but stay there, in the quiet, in the discomfort, because in a world that pulls you in every direction, stillness isn't weakness. Stillness is power, and that power, it's been waiting inside you all along. Stoicism isn't about shutting the world out. It's not about building walls or numbing your heart. It's about showing up better for yourself and for others. The paradox of our time is this: we've never been more connected and never felt more alone. We scroll endlessly, looking for something real in pixels and posts. We count hearts, chase comments, and forget the simplest act of all, being here with someone fully. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness." And maybe that's the truth we've overlooked. Not another hack, not another app, but a conversation that isn't rushed, a silence that isn't awkward, a hug that lingers for just a second longer than usual. The Stoics weren't monks on a mountain. They lived in the marketplace, in politics, in families. They knew pain, betrayal, loss, and yet they returned again and again to this truth: you cannot master life until you've learned to master your emotions. But mastery isn't suppression, it's understanding. It's holding a storm without becoming the storm. It's offering your calm, not because you're praised for it, but because someone needs it. Even Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, burdened with power, wrote daily reminders to himself: be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Why? Because strength isn't in being untouchable, it's in being steady. The strongest people don't build armor around their hearts. They build roots. They're not hardened. They're anchored, not above others, but beside them. And here's what hustle culture won't tell you. You don't need to do it all alone. You don't need to carry the weight of the world on your back. You don't need to be strong all the time. True strength is knowing when to ask for help. True courage is letting yourself love again, even after being broken. True wisdom is remembering this. The soul doesn't thrive in isolation. It grows in the soil of connection. So today, do the small things with your whole heart. Look someone in the eye and see them. Listen, not to respond, but to understand. Forgive, even if they don't ask for it. Say thank you and mean it. Say I'm here and let it matter. Because in the end, no algorithm will hold your hand. No like button will keep you warm. No follower count will wipe your tears when life falls apart. What will matter is who you showed up for, who you loved, and how deeply you allowed yourself to be loved in return. In a world obsessed with more, choose to be here. Choose to be present. Because presence in its quiet way might just be the most radical thing you can offer. We've come this far, together, from noise to silence, from chaos to calm, from distraction to something clearer, deeper. Now, one final question remains. In a world so desperate to shape you, will you shape yourself? Because today's world doesn't just steal your time, it colonizes your mind. Scroll long enough and you'll forget what you truly believe. You'll trade your compass for trends, your convictions for convenience. And it won't even feel wrong because it's normal now. But the Stoics, they saw it coming. They didn't fear death. They feared forgetting themselves. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And mastery doesn't mean becoming cold or robotic. It means being undisturbed in a world that profits from your disturbance. It means reclaiming the one thing no one can sell, steal, or stream, your mind. So when algorithms whisper what to want, when notifications clamor for your soul, when outrage feels like the only language people speak, pause. Don't fight the wave. Stand beneath it. Return to your center, the place untouched by noise, because the world owes you nothing, but it cannot stop you from creating peace within. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. He could have drowned in power, in praise, in distractions. But instead, each night he returned to himself. He wrote, he reflected, he remembered what was his and what was not. He wasn't just leading a nation, he was protecting his soul. And if an emperor could do that, so can you. Let the world spin, let it demand, let it distract. But you root yourself like a tree. You do not fear the wind, because your roots grow inward. You will not always be understood. You will not always be applauded. But that was never the goal. The goal was to live deliberately, to stay awake in a world that numbs, to stay soft in a world that hardens, to stay still in a world that races. No one will give you back your time. No one will guard your soul. That's not a tragedy. It's an invitation to choose, to protect, to return. So let the world spin, but you remain still. In a world obsessed with the next thing, the next scroll, the next crisis, the next distraction, the Stoics offer something radical. Pause, not to react, not to chase, not to escape. Just pause, right here, right now. Ask yourself, how are you? Where are your thoughts drifting? Who are you becoming when you do absolutely nothing at all? In this tangled web of connection, we forgot something simple. Peace was never earned. It was always there. We just stopped noticing. But now, you've remembered. You've remembered that your emotions don't own you. That discomfort is not a flaw, it's fuel. That true clarity doesn't come from fixing the world. It comes from responding wisely to it. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere. So come back, not to the noise, but to yourself. Breathe, put down the screen, look up, feel the wind, feel your breath. Feel the present. This is where your power lives. Not in urgency, not in performance, but in the stillness that was always yours to return to. Welcome back. And if this message stirred something in you, don't let it vanish with the next notification. Let it stay. Let it echo. Let it change something. Come back to this space whenever the world feels too loud, whenever your thoughts get too heavy, whenever you forget that peace was never out there. And if someone you care about, just one person, is drowning in the noise, share this with them, because clarity spreads, stillness echoes, and sometimes all it takes to change a life is a voice that whispers, "You still have a choice." Subscribe for more timeless clarity. And remember, you own your mind. Guard it well.